Welcome to the Chasing Ebenezer show. This is a show where we talk about stuff, play you some music, and encourage you to be creative. This season, we are exploring the art of being human. We want to say thank you to our patrons who support us each month. If you want to know more about that, visit us on patreon.com/Chasing Ebenezer. For more information about our musical endeavors, visit chasingebenezer.com. We hope you enjoy the show.
Well, welcome to the Chasing Ebenezer show.
Hello.
I'm Heidi, and you're... What was that?
I don't know. I don't always know what to do.
I don't know what to do either.
You all have a very intimidating audience.
I wasn't trained for this.
Yet we decided to do it anyway.
Sounds like my life.
Yeah.
I wasn't trained to be an adult. I wasn't trained to be a human, and yet here we are.
Here we are.
Here we are. Thanks for bearing with us.
Yes.
I am drinking LaCroix Limoncello.
And
I'm just noticing, though, that it's spelled with an I, like limone. So is that Italian for lemon?
please let us know, because we've been talking about this.
It shouldn't be
a
that
little bit.
complicated.
Yeah.
I guess I thought it was limoncello.
I will say, as someone who's not a fan of water, that is my favorite water.
Yeah.
That's my favorite
Because
LaCroix.
they make it taste not like water.
Yeah. It's like fish. I love fish where I can't taste the fish. I really like it.
They
or
probably
vegetables.
don't like the way you
vegetables,
taste
you know. You put you deep fry carrots, you deep fry broccoli.
Then they don't taste like vegetables
Oh, it's
anymore.
so good. Anyway.
Oh.
Well, I'm going to jump on the whole excited train because we're really excited that we're releasing our new single called City on June 23rd. If you are one of our patrons, you already have it in your inbox. So if you get messages from us and you kind of don't open them,
Open them.
you're missing out. And you have chances to claim perks and to suggest show topics. I mean, we're giving you a lot of power and a lot of trust. So check your email and get it. But for the rest of you, our single comes
We
out.
don't trust the rest of
Yeah, we don't trust the rest of you. Comes out next month in a couple weeks. If you cannot wait 2 more weeks.
You can't wait.
If you just can't wait. Please, 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 please. You can sign up on Patreon, whatever dollar amount you choose. At least $1 or more. And you'll be able to get the single early. So I'm excited about that.
That was a good commercial for us.
I thought it was good. What are you excited about?
Well, that's kind of what I was going to say, but you stole my excitedness.
I stole your excitedness?
Yeah, my topic. So, I guess I don't remember anything else that I was excited about other than that.
Hey, well, why are you excited about it?
Because it's finally done.
Yeah. If you're a creative,
we have a
you
hard
understand
time
that.
finishing things. We have such a hard time finishing things. And so it's nice to finish something. And, well, the other thing that I think I'm excited because by finishing the single, it now means that we can start recording our album. Because we basically did the single to test out if we could do this ourselves.
My competency level.
No, you've really been, you've learned over the years kind of how to do the different phases. So this was completely, can we do all the recording ourselves and feel good about it? The answer is yes.
Yes.
So I'm excited about you being so good at what you do and learning. And now it means that the songs that we've been really arranging, we can actually get those going for the full album.
Yes.
So maybe that's a bonus excited.
Bonus excited.
A bonus excitedness about it.
And if I can go on the bonus excited.
What now?
I know.
That's too
So-
much for me to handle.
So as a creator who is very big on having tons of ideas and very little execution, we did record a couple other songs to kind of try some of this stuff out. And I'm excited to start mixing and working on some of those other ones that we already had recorded to be released kind of just as a duo. Because, I mean, here's the thing. if you see a Chasing Ebenezer show, sometimes you see a ton of people on stage. A lot of times, you see the two of us. So we like to have recordings that kind of represent both. But our full band's amazing. Can I just say that? Our full band is so good. We play with like amazing musicians. So I feel very blessed and very honored.
That is a lot of excitement.
It's a lot of excitement. I don't even know if I can even contain it. Don't I look excited?
I got a haircut too. I was excited about that. Pruning. Pruning.
Must be nice.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Must be nice. Yeah. What are you feeling your humanity in these days?
Well, our cat, who many of you have seen on
or heard,
she's in the twilight phase of living. She's got cancer, so we're keeping an eye on her, but we're
preparing to say goodbye.
Yeah. So that's just a part of life that she's been with us. Like, this is her 19th year of being alive. So that's a really long time. We've had her since she was
a kitten.
Yeah. So that's like a huge part of...
It's going to leave a big hole in our hearts. And if you're a pet lover and owner, you understand.
That's
really
just hard.
Yeah.
So... I didn't mean to bring it down.
No, that's okay. Went from excitement to you're going to experience the full range of emotions. Yeah, I definitely am feeling my humanity with that. What's weird, though, is like I've been feeling a lot more joy lately, even in the midst of these kind of things. Because, I mean, she's been having like health issues for a long time. Yeah, and so we've been living with it in the back of our mind for a lot longer than the past, week or so. But in the midst of that, I'm also experiencing just a lot of joy and a lot of hope, which I don't tend to experience. I like to attribute it to the fact that I'm trying not to cuss anymore. And if any of you have ever attempted to swear off swearing, you should try it sometime. You might find your mental health improve.
You never know.
Yeah. Yeah, just saying. That's the one thing I'm like, oh, that's changed, so that's good.
Oh. Yeah. Well, we are going to talk today about exploration, adventure, which we've talked about curiosity before.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to dive into this. I'm viewing curiosity is kind of the spark. But then exploration and like adventures, doing it is kind of like acting on the wonder and curiosity. Yes. So it was quite a bit a while ago that we did it. So this is kind of like a next part of that, it seems like to me.
I agree. I completely agree.
So we'll see. I
don't know what happens.
I don't know what I'm going to say.
We're going to go exploring together. Come along.
Scene. Yeah, apparently Ben didn't have my microphone on the first half very well because he didn't want to hear anything I had to say. So if there's any sound issues with the first half, it's Ben's fault.
Yep.
Explore that.
Explore that. So what do you remember exploring? Whether as a kid, teenager, or like maybe just in class you heard about explorers?
Well, when my dad's parents took a nap, when we spent the night at a house while they were taking a nap.
Okay.
I like to creep around the house.
You creep. Now, were you actually quiet?
Well, I had to be because it was one of those old houses in Tacoma, and it was silent. And so there was like upstairs and there was like a back room. So no, I just wanted to like, what's in this drawer and what's in this room? Because I didn't want to get into trouble.
So apparently you weren't supposed to do that.
I wasn't told I wasn't supposed to do it.
It was implied.
I I don't know, okay? I don't know. Now, if someone tells me you cannot trespass, then I am like a stickler.
Yes, you are.
I mean, we're talking...
Yep.
We're talking... so much that it probably annoys you. But if I'm not told... but I still felt kind of guilty.
I know.
Hey, look.
We've been in this relationship.
I have a tender conscience.
You do?
I definitely do.
So did you ever discover anything in there that...
Not really.
No.
There was nothing. Not really.
Was it always kind of like a letdown?
Yes. Yeah. Like, oh, well, I took all that creeping energy and...
So is this the creeping?
Like, it's like I'm a T-Rex.
Is that what this is?
I creep like a T-Rex. That's, okay. That's why T-Rexes have such small arms. Because they're so loud, but they're supposed to use their little arms for creeping, but they forget.
Wow. I have nothing to say.
And you can't prove it wrong because they don't exist anymore. So you cannot find out if I'm wrong or not.
Okay. That's true.
There's no way to disprove me.
It's true.
So I say theory approved.
Okay, theory approved. There you go. Let's see. Okay, so when I was in school, like going through like the different explorers, there's like only one person I could kind of say I know what they actually discovered, but then the names of some of these people were really like interesting, like Cortez. That's an interesting name. Ponce de Leon. That's it. It was always their names were interesting, but I couldn't remember what they really did. So that was what, I was like, oh, I like the idea of exploring and they have a cool name. That was my education.
What would your explorer name be?
I don't know. I'll let you think about that one. You can tell me later. What would your explorer name be? My earliest memory of exploring is probably, and I might have told this story before, was when we lived in Virginia. We had our backyard went off into the woods. Like I remember when our house was being built, my mom and dad and my grandparents and we all kind of went out into the woods and just hung out. And as a kid, it felt like we went for miles and miles and miles. We probably only went about 10 feet. But the trees were huge. And it just felt like this other land. So the older I got, the more I wanted to go back there and see what was there. And we found a creek. So we have a body of water in my backyard. That's exciting. And so I remember my friend and I saying, okay, well, let's follow the creek. Let's see where it goes. And we got our shoes ridiculously muddy. Like as in like when you were stepping, you were hearing there's that sound, that squishy sound when you're stepping in wet places. And like my feet were just completely nasty. And we got to a lake. And because we didn't drive, we're like, oh. Was
it a lake or was it just a little pond?
No, it was a lake.
It was an actual lake.
No, I mean, it might have been a reservoir. I mean, it was a miniature lake. It wasn't like, a lake on a map.
Okay.
But it was so cool to kind of discover that. But, there was also kind of a letdown because it's like, as you're a kid, you want to discover like something fantastical. Like
a T-Rex?
Yeah, like a T-Rex sneaking around. But it was really, it was a fun, adventure my friend and I went on and we really enjoyed it. And then I felt really guilty for getting dirty. You felt guilty for actually exploring.
Oh.
I felt guilty for getting my shoes dirty.
And I think I shared... I don't remember how long ago we shared about my old backyard and my
tree?
pooping my bush
your pooping
my
tree.
House bush thing that we made like a tree fort out of it, and I got so enthralled. I loved how I would poop in the backyard because I didn't want to take the time to walk all the way in the house and use the toilet, even though it was probably only right there, but it seemed huge as a kid. So then I felt guilty though for pooping in the backyard.
So it's like almost. I mean, now I don't recommend.
No, we're not recommending that you fertilize your backyard.
I don't recommend public pooping. I just don't.
No.
But I will say that it's interesting how there's a lot of guilt associated with exploring for us. That's funny.
Well, and depending on your history books and what we're told. Maybe we grew up hearing about certain explorers, and then when it's actually the truth's been revealed, like, were they actually, some of them were not
Great people.
great people. So there's like, often with exploration, when you're talking about land and territory, it can also often involve taking land that isn't really yours.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's this really fine line between exploring in a way that honors what you're exploring versus
Conquering.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yep.
I think there's just globally mixed feelings about exploration.
I want to explore just to see something I haven't seen before, and then go back, not to see what I haven't seen before and then say it's mine. That just so everyone's clear on my motive for exploring.
Well, I think, because I was thinking about curiosity and exploration, and I think I mentioned it earlier, I can wonder about a whole lot of things, but sometimes fear or exhaustion or laziness or all these negative feelings can keep me from trying it out.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe like, I wonder, but do I really want to know? But I do think that whether it's you start researching family history or you find a hiking place,
Yep.
and it takes kind of an act of courage and faith and
An interruption.
yeah, for sure,
Interruption
for
is
sure.
a big one. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
I know.
why did you want to talk about this? Because you're the one who said you want to talk about exploring.
I did, because a couple weeks ago I went on a personal retreat out into the woods. I stayed in a tiny house, and I learned a little bit about exploring, because where I went was not what I would call a tourist attraction place. It's a great town, and it was beautiful, and there's a really cool hiking trail back there. But it wasn't like you go to the gorge and there's so many options that you can go to as a tourist and hike and find stuff out. So as I went, I was thinking about my buddy Troy Williams, who always tells me like stories about like how he went up some backcountry road and saw this really cool thing, or how he'd go exploring here and exploring there. And I'm like, well, why don't I do that? Why don't I ever do that? And usually because, like you, what if I'm trespassing? What if there's no place to park? That's the other play. Because like you see these things off the side of the road, these little trails, and you just don't see where to park. So you just keep going because you're in a hurry to get somewhere. And so this time I kind of was like, you know what? I'm going to keep an open mind. And there was a few places I drove by that were like calling to me, because I saw that I could pull my car in. That was the first thing. The other thing was that I did not see a no trespassing sign, because that was kind of my moral code as well. If I see a trespassing sign, I won't trespass. So I found this place off the back that goes and overlooks like a railroad track and the lake and a whole lot of farmland. And it was all just like rocks, and it was just a sight I would not have seen otherwise. It was really beautiful. It also smelled horrid because someone decided to dump a bunch of old seafood in the back.
I was gonna say it was not me. That was not my pooping bush location.
No, it was not your pooping bush location. But it was really just the act of being able to go back there and to stop at a place where most people don't stop. You see things most people don't get to see.
Oh, keep going, sorry.
I saw a whole bunch of like, I'm not sure if they were buzzards or hawks, so I'm not going to speak inaccurately, but there were like...
They had wings.
They had wings, and they were flying. And like I saw 6 of them at one time flying really close around me over my head. It was really just... It was a transcendent moment for me. So that was just one of the moments that I had that week. But I kind of was like looking for, where are the trails that are a little bit more primitive, or places that maybe don't get trafficked as much. And so I'm going to go there. And I fell and nearly broke my hand on one of those trails. But that's a different story. What were you going to say?
I'm also remembering the hornet that got into the tiny house It felt like you were battling a nemesis of gargantuan proportion from your text
It
messages.
was a big hornet. I don't like bees. I like bumblebees because they're cute. I don't like hornets. Those things are mean. And my philosophy is that a mansion is too big of a space for a hornet. Wouldn't you, the viewer, agree? So a tiny house means that the odds of me bumping into said nemesis are about 100%. So
Maybe the hornet was exploring, and you were like a T-Rex to the hornet. So maybe the hornet was afraid of you.
he had a very good reason to be afraid of me. And I didn't want to kill him. But if it was between me and him, then yeah. So anyway, but it really got me thinking about taking the road less traveled, going places, being willing to slow down and see things and discover things. And even if what I discover is boring, the act of going is such it's a creative act, first of all, and it's something very satisfying about like putting feet on your curiosity.
Yeah, I think that happens a lot with art pieces. It's like sometimes it doesn't turn out. Because you'll think, oh, what happened if I did this or this? And then I'll do it, and then I'll think, well, that's ruined. So there's risk involved in exploration and adventure. There just is. And so you kind of have to be willing to risk it. We have
a visitor.
Our sweet little our hospice kitty.
She's exploring
She's
the office.
exploring what we're the... Yes. Punky, do you want to say hi?
Want to say hi to people?
Come here, sweet baby.
Come on.
Or not. No one pay attention to me as I awkwardly try. Come here. Say hi to everybody. Oh, here we go.
What a sweet girl.
This is Punky, if you have not seen her on the show before. Little
Yep.
calico baby. So we'll just keep going here.
We'll just keep going. Yeah, another thing about exploring that I've started to think a little differently since we moved out here. Where we lived before, I had like these set places of driving I would go to get to, where I was going. Because like there's places we
like
have to
route.
go.
You
like
have
a
set route.
Thank you.
Route.
And now I'm having to discover a new route to get to places. And I'm discovering things that I never knew even existed back here. Like where we live is like southeast Portland. But for me to get anywhere, I have to go through all these backwoods and country roads and stuff. And it makes me think of my dad. My dad has got this really wonderful habit of taking the back way because he insists that it's shorter. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't.
Depends how fast you drive.
Depends how fast you drive. And my dad's not a slow driver. I wouldn't say he's a speeder either, which, means he's a safe driver, which is good. Thanks, Dad. But like, I never really understood why my dad would take those routes. And now that I'm driving, I'm getting to a place where it's like, well, what happens if I just choose to go this way instead? What if I choose a different route? So when I went on my little personal retreat, I decided not to pick the fastest route. I decided to pick a route that did not involve freeways. And it was wonderful. I absolutely loved it. I got to see things I didn't get to see. I don't normally get to see. I wasn't in annoying traffic. Which if you live out here, traffic here is really annoying. And I did the other thing was I rode with the window down. So it was nice. It was just an act of exploring, and it didn't require a whole lot of time. Anyway, do you have any exploring lessons other than art as an adult?
Oh.
Any places that you've snuck around in?
Well, sometimes I
Trespassed?
don't like to explore my emotions and my issues. But that's pretty much what counseling is. And I've been in counseling for a while. And I'm going to be in counseling for a while. But that can be very scary because you don't know what you're going to find. You might find something good, bad, both. So it's having to trust that, not dealing with it is not working. So even if there is something painful and not dealing with it is not so there can be that that side of
Yeah.
personal exploration and But all these things take time, and so you want to be you want to be able to not rush through things, because when rushing tends to just make a big mess anyway. So, yeah. Punky is purring.
I'm sorry, I'm distracted.
Punky is purring, so I think she's enjoying.
She's enjoying being the TV star.
She's enjoying it, yes. So.
So, you've already kind of touched on this a little bit, but I kind of want to hear why you think exploring is, how it connects to creativity, but why it's important.
Well, we've talked, and it relates to being human as well. We can just kind of get in a rut. We can get in a set pattern. We can become kind of paralyzed in our way of doing things, whether that's our habits, the way we live, where the kind of art that we're doing. And so exploring, it breaks down some of that, and it can be painful, but otherwise we stagnate. What we create stagnates, and
so it gets you out of a rut.
Get you out of a rut.
I would piggyback off that and say it can also get you out of somebody else's rut. Because sometimes you don't know your own way of doing things because you have been trained to do it somebody else's way.
That's very true. That's very true.
And I think that, you get on social media, there's all kinds of advertising for, I'm going to show you how to be successful at this. And
that's not what this show is about.
No. But I will say that there's really good principles to see what other people have discovered.
Yeah.
But if it becomes, and this is what I tend to do with things. I remember we did that was it what sparks joy is your cleaning thing.
Marie Kondo's
book, yeah, and it's a great book. So I'm not knocking the book, but I'm like one of those people that if someone gives me a book, I'm gonna follow it exactly so. And I remember we got in a fight over that because you had a different way of doing it, and it caused.
Well, I don't think you just said it's a great book, but did we get past the first?
What I read of it was good.
It's such a beautiful concept, though.
It is.
But yeah, you wanted
I got stuck in a formula.
Yeah, and I was like, can we do this thing this way?
Yeah.
And you did not want it. So.
No, I was like, that's not the rules. This is why we're all cluttered into. Yeah, it's so dumb. But I think that it's important to kind of discover your own way of doing things. For yourself, first of all, but then also you get to be the added voice in the conversation about creativity. So, and the other reason why it's important is because exploration can lead you to find out what not to do, like you said with the painting.
Oh yes.
But it can also lead to awesome discovery.
It can.
It really can.
Yes.
Yeah. So one of my I have one ukulele student. And I enjoy teaching her a lot. She's really talented and she's funny and she helps me not take myself too seriously. But we both do this with our students. We're like, well, what would a forest sound like? And that kind of thing. Well, this is an instrument that I tend to explore on a lot because it's 4 strings, which means there's only so much I can screw up with it.
It's like contained exploration.
And so She challenged me, which is what I get to do after we film the show, is to write a song for our next lesson. So what I will do sometimes, or if I'm on a Zoom call that's boring me, this is an instrument I can keep under my camera and just do this while I'm on mute, and that works too. But this is a great instrument for discovering chords. So one day I was like, I wonder what it would sound like if I did this. So I find new ways to play chords and stuff, and I'm like, that sounds really cool. And then I ask, what chord is it? But
I'm just looking again at how long your fingers are. Never ceases to amaze me.
So, most of the best songs I write are usually me just stretching my fingers across the fretboard of whatever instrument I'm playing, and all of a sudden finding something that resonates with my soul. And no matter how many songwriting method books I look at, it doesn't top just taking a chance on the instrument and seeing what you find. So anyway, so if you're a creative, or if you're someone who's afraid of being creative because you're afraid of doing it wrong, please start exploring, because we need what you discover, and we need to know what you screw up. So I mean, it's both. It's both.
I remember. Do you remember like the snot stew that I made that one time?
Oh yeah.
Because I
remember that.
I wanted to try something out, and I boiled these tapioca.
I remember this.
It looked like a snot stew. It was not. So I learned to never do what I did before. So I learned something, but I was so disappointed. But I was like, I'm just gonna try it. So not being afraid to just screw something up, which is very hard.
And
for
the
a lot
worst
of
case
us.
scenario is that if you screw something up that bad, you at least have a good story to tell. Like us, like
Snot stew.
I have not thought about snot stew since the day it's snot stew.
Well, and and at first I was trying to convince myself, oh, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
I didn't want to waste the money on the groceries I had, but at some point I was like,
Sometimes it's more valuable to not starve. So, yeah. So prompts for today. A couple things. One would be take a different route home. Whether it's you're coming home from your job, whether it's you are coming home, whether you're going to meet your buddies at the place that you always meet them at, take a different route very intentionally and just see where you end up. Or drive somewhere, and if you see a road that sounds interesting, just go down that road, see what happens. We used to do this as kids all the time on bikes, It's like, oh, that road looks kind of cool, let's do that. So go exploring. You can do it from the safety of your car. Safer than sometimes walking. If you are in more of a rural place and you see a pathway, like a trail, or if you're even on a hiking trail and you see one of those little off trails and it doesn't say no trespassing, and it doesn't say don't go this way, it's hazardous.
Dangerous cliff ahead.
Why don't you go down there and see what you can find? Take pictures. And even if you don't find anything worth sharing, how did you feel stepping off the trail onto something new? That's a really good, way to... Because, yeah. You know what I mean. Do you have anything?
Yeah. Whatever you do, whether it's cooking or painting, mix some things up and just see what happens without having an end goal in mind, just for fun. Mm-hmm. You might come up with snot stew, or you might have a beautiful, beautiful dinner.
Exactly. I think that's great. I completely agree.
I wasn't much more brilliant than that.
No, that was you can't top the T-Rex. So,
Music time.
Music time. So, for this show, we're going to do our recorded version of the song Angels and Monsters. Hope you enjoy it. We're going to mix in some video I took from a couple weeks ago during my retreat. And I've got a couple other ones I'm thinking of that might fit well with this song. So hope you enjoy the song, and we will see you soon.
City comes out June 23rd.
23rd. All right. See you soon. Bye. All around this
your world become large, your vision will be clear. Ooh, we are dust and mist, dry bones you have kissed, but time made us forget what we knew as kids. Life's more than what we can see, destiny hiding in dreams, angels and monsters pushing conspiracies. Your narrow mind, you don't know it all. You can measure time and space, but never map my soul. It's time to become friends with mystery. Close your eyes, become a child, and then you'll finally see. Ooh, we're dust and mist, dry bones you have kissed, but time made us forget what we knew as kids. Life's more than what we can see, destiny hiding in dreams, angels and monsters pushing conspiracies. Deep the clean air of possibility. Hold out with open hands, certainty. Look beyond the painted mask of a preconceived enemy. Love is open, it's not blind, it sees how things could be. Dust and mist, dry bones you have kissed, but time made us forget what we knew as kids. Life's more than what we can see, destiny hiding in dreams, angels and monsters. Ooh, life's more than what we can see, destiny hiding in dreams, angels and monsters, angels and monsters, angels and monsters pushing conspiracies.